What is up, TLR? We are back with episode 6, I think it is.
Yeah, holy crap.
And I know a lot, yeah, right. A lot of you guys have requested that we do a testimony episode, and we are going to do it by couples basically. So we'll be the four of us will do it first, and then somewhere down the line, the other four will do it. So yeah, we have Jules, Emily, and Abdoulaye, and myself here today.
Jules is back.
Jules is back. Yes, he is back.
She never
I
left.
love you.
Aw.
But yeah, I don't know which one of us wanted to kick it
This
off.
is a book we're opening.
Right. Yeah, this is like a big
It's like 10 chapters.
Yeah.
But we gotta keep it a minimum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start.
It's all right. I don't mind going first. If you
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I like how we're just getting like right into it, you know.
I know.
But
Yeah.
hey, this is what the TLR audience wants.
Right.
But no, I'm actually glad we're doing this. Like to give people an understanding of like our personalities and
Yeah.
just how like we are wired and stuff like that, and just like the background, like where we came from. And I think it's really important for the viewers to know that.
Yeah.
Um, wow, yeah, I don't even know where to start either, to be honest. No, it's all right. So I guess for me, oh, also really quick too, like later on, we'll probably just go on through like how we all met each other and stuff like
Yep.
that after
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But pretty much, growing up, I have always had my twin sister, Maya. You know, we've always been close. We still are close. Um, the difference for her and I going to like the same school, because we started off in uh a Christian private school. We only did it for pre-K and kindergarten, but then we went to Churchville, was a public school. And so basically, um, for some reason, I didn't have a lot of friends. Actually, I didn't really have any friends, honestly. I got bullied a lot at a young age, so um it put a lot of depression in me. And as a kid, I didn't even realize what that was. You know, we not really fully developed there. But my sister, she had all the friends and stuff like that, so she was very more of like the popular person, I guess.
Mm.
But I got bullied a lot, and it's like your classic bullying, like getting shoved around and stuff like that, getting made fun of and stuff like that. Don't even know why to this day why I got bullied, but I mean it was something that really just happened. But it got to a point where our parents pulled us out of the public school, and we got put into the Christian school, another Christian private school, which is Faith Church. Church that we go to, and the school there is called Destiny Christian School. And then Maya and I stayed there through the rest, all the way up to 12th grade.
Mm.
And my little sister, she was already there. But basically, as I'm still just fighting off like this depression and stuff like that, I um still find it hard to make like friends at this point. Not like today, but at that point, I should say. And and I had like a mindset. I'm just like, yo, we're in a Christian school. This should be like easy to make friends. This should
Right.
just be very simple. It should be straightforward. I'm like, nah, it wasn't. And um around that time, I still had like people that I would talk with. I would have friendships like here and there and stuff like that. But I think something that I was like really just longing for was like that one true like person that I can call like a best friend. And I met this guy. He's very interesting. His name is Michael Bell. He's also on the podcast. But him and I met actually in, I think I was in 7th grade and he was in 6th grade. And basically we didn't go to the same school obviously, but we met at a youth group. I think it was at one of our Christmas parties that we did at the youth group. And that's how we met. And back then, like this is when we had kick. I don't know if any of y'all know what
Hey.
kick is.
So wild.
That's right. We had kick, right? And around that time too, like as years went by, like Snapchat came about. So that's all we texted on. driest conversations like ever. I'm just like, this guy's not gonna be my friend or whatever. But as I just went through high school, I got into my first relationship with this girl, and it really didn't end well after a while. And then just me still dealing with my depression. Um, I was just kind of like longing for just like anything, any type of love, whatever it is. But then when I went to my first college though, which was MCC, Monroe Community College, that's when I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. I started like partying. I started sleeping around. Like I was basically like a sex addict. Like
Mm.
that's all I wanted to do. Um, I didn't get much into drugs or anything like that, but even so, just like I would drink at the parties and stuff like that. I just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
Drink loud music. That's just how I was. And then even so, like I even got um involved with people who were like part of gangs and stuff like that. And I won't get into like all that lore and stuff like that, but there was like a couple times where I was just like, yo, what am I doing with
Mm.
this crew? They wanted some help with stuff. I'm just like, bro, I can't. Like I did it. In my mind, I was just like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. But I'm just like, no, my friends, they need help. I got them. And I still did it. And there was times where I shouldn't even be walking like today, living, walking, breathing, all that. So then it got to a certain point where I absolutely hit like rock bottom. And this is still in my MCC days. And it was me and Michael, and our other friend. We were all like in a parking lot. Michael had just gotten out of work and he worked at like a store, I think like a clothing store or something like that at the time. And I was breaking down the news to Maya and our other friend. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got to tell Michael too. Because Michael was just about to come out of work. So then I was afraid to admit all of these things that I have done because at this point, Michael and I have known each other for like 4 years at that time. And I'm just like, okay, I don't want to tell him all this stuff and then have him judge me and like, leave me and stuff. And I told myself I'm not gonna get emotional. But
Mm.
just talking about me and Michael's relationship is just the best, well, not the best thing's happened to me. But like but
Thanks.
like in that time it was like really like a truly a blessing.
He is a
So
blessing.
yeah. Uh that whole night Loki felt like a movie because when Michael came out and I met up with him like in the parking lot, mind you, it's just my car and his car and
Mm.
the four of us just like in the parking lot. No one else is there. Tell me why it starts raining. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is like a whole movie, bro. I go up to like Michael, can we just take a lap around the parking lot? And I'm just telling him all this stuff. And then I just started like boohoo crying. Like
Yeah.
crying the hardest like I ever have in my life. And I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm.
I'm just like, I'm out here sleeping around with people. I'm getting involved with parties and stuff like this, all of that. And then literally the first thing that he tells me, he like grabs me, grabs my face, and he's like, bro, I love you. And I was just like, Michael, why would you say that now? It's gonna make me feel anyways. But and I was just like in that moment, I knew for a fact that like, nah, this is my guy.
Mm.
There was like no judgment. He was just like, bro, you don't have to worry about that. And then Maya and our other friend, they come over and stuff like that. And we're all literally just like holding hands like in a circle and we're praying in the rain outside. That's
Wow.
literally how that happened. And then even so, I think that's like I was around 2019. Um I there was a guest speaker at our church, Faith Church, and he was he's gifted in like the prophetic and healing and stuff like that. And so when I went up there, I still watch the video to this day because it's on the church app. And basically, he's telling me all these different things. He was just like, this man is called to preach the gospel on the streets. He's called to heal the sick, like all these different stuff. He was just like, his past does not define who he is. Mind you, never had not one conversation with this guy. And he was saying stuff that I had told him. Keeping it brief, not telling the whole congregation or whatever. But he's basically saying like you're gonna walk with integrity, you're going to walk with strength, you're gonna walk with wisdom, you're gonna walk with power. And he said you're going to change this next generation. And
Wow.
I was like, this is a lot.
No pressure.
And so like growing up, like we were raised in a Christian home.
Mhm.
I remember like going up for an altar call maybe when I was like 11 or 12, but then like I fell off and stuff like that. And then this is what got me back to uh Christ, like him prophesying over me. I was like, okay, it's time to rededicate my life back to Christ. And to go back a little bit, in 2017, I came to Elam for a discovery days. Basically, what that is, this is like you stay on campus for like 3 days, and you get to just see how it is. But I was just like, yeah, I ain't coming to the school, bro. I don't want to come here. That's literally what I said.
Yeah.
2020 rolls around. I'm like, here I am, and I came back, and I'm at Elam, and um, that's when I started to feel a sense of like a nice like community again. Like I have my church community, but it's something for like myself at that time because um, when I came to Elam, Maya didn't come with me my first year. She came the second semester, so I was just here by myself. No family members. Michael and I weren't even here yet. Like no one that I knew was here, and that's how I met like Aaron and Ruby and you guys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's basically the gist of that and how I came to Elam and came back to
Wow.
life.
Wow.
Thanks. There's obviously way more that I could say.
Yeah.
Way more, but yeah, that's mine.
Mm.
I don't know who wants to go next, but
Oh, that's so crazy.
you might as well just do my couples.
You know, my favorite color is purple.
Okay. I was raised Catholic. I went to church every Sunday, did all my sacraments. I went to Catholic school all the way kindergarten through 6th grade. And when 7th grade rolled around, I looked at my parents and I played soccer, and a lot of my friends went to the local public school, and I said, I want to go to public school. That was controversial. But they agreed, they set their terms for it, and they sent me off to public school. Lo and behold, my first week of public school, someone came along. That was where I met Abdoulaye, and we clicked pretty much immediately. That like first or second week, I feel like we just became like best friends.
Yeah.
Us and another friend, Jared. We had the three amigos group chat. Um, and public school is really hard for me. I had a lot of depression. I went through a lot of just like really bad anxiety. I struggled a lot mentally. I just had a very, very hard time. Um, Fast forward to high school. Actually, fast forward to freshman year because for us, freshmen had their own school building.
Yep.
That was when I really started to establish some of my friend groups, and I always kind of towed the line with my friend groups. Like I always had like a hand in every friend group, but I never really stuck with like a set one. So if there was ever like a conflict, people would be like, "Oh, go Jules because she's friends with this person and this person," or "Oh, she knows this person who knows this person who knows this person." Sometimes it got me in a little bit of trouble. Um, and then by the time I was in high school, I'd finally started to kind of establish a friend group. And then that kind of fell apart. Junior year, I established a friend group. That was the year Abdoulaye and my friendship blew up. We had a huge fight long story short, the school put an order of no contact between the two of us.
Yeah.
So we did not speak the entire second half of junior year and all of senior year of high school. We had like mutual friends. A lot of the guys that he ran around with, I talked to in different classes that I had with them, but we did not speak at all. So we went from seventh grade all the way to like halfway through junior year and then just nothing. And I had these other friends that I was hanging out with that weren't necessarily great for me and my mental health. That was when my mental health really started to tank again. A lot of my friends were like very suicidal. I was in and out of counseling about 4 to 5 of the school days a week, sometimes multiple times in a day. I would get pulled out of classes for counseling to a point where my school actually held an intervention. I walked into a meeting and it was my principal, assistant principal, main counselor, mental health counselor, and the assistant to my mental health counselor. And they were like, we gotta nip everything now because we're scared you're not gonna graduate. And that was my junior year. And going into senior year, I changed everything, turned my whole life around, better friend group, started getting into new hobbies, like all these things, getting super involved in my church, just a whole 360. I even spoke at my high school graduation. I just turned my whole life around. And I even had a teacher at graduation come up to me and be like, literally like crying and being like, kid, I didn't think you were going to make it. I didn't know if you were going to graduate. I didn't know if you were going to make it to the end of school. And here you are, and you just spoke at your graduation, like you left your mark. You did it. And I left kind of like on a high, I guess you'd say, of just like, yeah, I can do this. Then college.
It's always college.
It's college, man. You get out there on your own and your parents aren't making your decisions anymore. And wow. I had started drinking when I was 17 frequently. My drinking started maybe at like 14, but like the actual drinking, where I was drinking consistently, probably started around 17. So now throwing that into college where I had pretty much unlimited access to drugs and alcohol, that was where things started to get slippery. But like I said, we had friends. He had friends that I talked to. So the first day, move-in day, one of said friends went to the same college and was like, hey, Abdoulaye and I are bored. Can we come over? And I said, this is when I decide, do I let him back in? Do I let both of them in? Or do I just like separate? And I decided, let him back in. Crazy choice. Let me tell you. But here we are now, and that's what matters.
Right.
He'll get into it, but he wasn't making great choices.
You guys will understand when I tell my side of the story.
The amount of people, because I am not an Elam student, past or present. So when people when he started going to Elam and people would meet me and I'd be like, oh yeah, I've been like friends with Abdoulaye since 7th grade. They'd be like, oh, I know you. And they immediately make all these snap judgments. And I was like, all right. Calm down. Aren't we Christians? Isn't it supposed to be like we listen and we don't judge type of situation? But that was when we started partying a lot more. I started drinking a lot more. I started vaping all the time.
It's always be them parties too.
Swear, dude.
Dorm party, house party. We made the party
Right?
sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, man,
Yeah.
it was honestly low key. It was kind of lame. We made it fun.
Right.
Then I got into a relationship with a girl who did not like Abdoulaye or any of my male friends, started isolating me. It was breaking down a lot of the relationships in my life. It turned a bit violent towards the end. They're no longer allowed to communicate with me in any way, shape, or form legally. But that one kind of threw me over the deep end with my drinking. I became borderline alcoholic at that point. I was drinking about 5 to 6 nights a week, um, drinking and then going to bed and then waking up in the morning and balancing off with a couple shots before going to my 8 a.m. classes. Like, pretty much if you saw me, there was some substance running through me.
Mm.
And it just kept getting worse and worse. And I reached this point of like shame where I didn't want to go to Abdullah anymore because I was like embarrassed and I didn't want him to be like, man, what happened? Because I was always the one, like I said, I towed the line. So my friends might have been making the bad choices and I might have dipped my toe in, but I always reined it back in. I was always the friend that just kind of like, so when I went off the deep end, I was just embarrassed because I was like, I'm the one that's supposed to have it all together.
Mm.
And I didn't anymore. And I got into some trouble here and there with some people. Long story short, I should not be alive today. I dabbled with some drugs, but luckily I didn't get addicted to anything, thank goodness. And then COVID hit and we all had to go home. And I got sober, or at least I attempted to get sober for the first time. I made it about 4 months. But basically, since 17, I hadn't been able to say that I was 6 months sober. Point blank, period. I never made it that far until now. Now I'm almost 2 years sober.
Yes.
I'll be 2 years sober at the end of October, which is really exciting. And when I dropped out of college during like the COVID times, my parents were like, hey, kid, get a job. So I called up the daycare I went to when I was a child, which was connected to a church. And I was like, hey, I need a job. Are you guys hiring? Do you remember me? And then I got the job. I worked there for almost 5 years. I actually just recently left the job not that long ago, to do something different in a field with kids. But while I was there, I met some people from Elam, and I hated all of them. And I said, keep Elam away from me. The Elam people are insane. But then I met the right Elam people, and one of them was Maya.
My sister.
Yep. And I was literally in a relationship with somebody, and she kept, towards the end, she met them and said, I don't like them. And then kept saying, Rob's single. Rob's single. I said, that's good for Rob. I'm not. Good for Rob. And then literally we broke up. And then like a week later, she was like, Rob's single. And I think it was like at the end of that month, because it was your birthday. It was your guys' birthday party.
Yeah.
So I went to your guys' birthday party and I was starting to get to know Rob. And I was like, dang it. I like this one. I like him. I like that one. I think I want to keep that one.
Little chocolate drop.
And but backtracking before Rob even came into the picture, one of those Elam friends, I was dropping them off after work, and I was like, my friend Abdoulaye goes here. I feel like maybe I should reach out. And she was like, reach out, reach out, reach out. So I reached out, and then he brought Emely, and I was like, who is this chick?
That's where I come
I was
in.
like, who is this?
Yep.
And we sit down. He tells me this is how I came to Jesus story.
Yep.
I told him this is how I left Jesus story. Because the time after we separated that I conveniently skipped over, was really bad. I hit a major rock bottom. I went through some really rough stuff. And I just completely shut out all religion dwindling, period, completely. Any faith that I thought I had, gone. So I told him that story. He's crying. I'm crying. Emily's crying.
Yeah.
My friend's crying. We're all just crying in the middle of the student center of this college campus that I don't go to. It's a very small college campus, so people are like, "Who's this chick crying at the student center?"
Mm.
And then he says, "You should meet Emily and listen to her story." And immediately this girl starts talking, and I said, "I don't like her. I don't like her. My best friend is brainwashed. He's at this cuckoo crazy banana school. I lost him forever. We'll never be friends again. We're never going to talk again." I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. He'll get over this phase. Then, next thing I know, before I even know it, I feel like I'm getting a voice memo that says, "Oh, by the way, proposing February 3rd. I said, "Proposing?" So I can't get rid of her? And here we are now. Isn't that
I know.
wild? We've talked about it. She knows.
I know.
I did
Yeah,
not just
yeah. I
drop
know.
lore. She knows. Because I was just very resistant
Right.
at that time.
Yeah.
And then, like, when you're very resistant to Christ and you are just so anti, and then watching, like, one of your best friends go straight into the light, full force, just, like, giving everything up and walking away from everything, you get a little angry.
Yeah.
So I was just very angry and taking it out on the wrong person.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But yeah, we have way moved past all that now.
Yes.
But here we are now filming a podcast.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys.
Yeah. So here we are.
So now she could probably transition into why
Okay.
she thought I was crazy for dating you.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay. So unlike the rest of these folks, I'm not from Rochester.
Mhm.
I'm from Long Island. Shout out to Long Island. We got the best pizza.
Hey,
I don't know what about garbage plates. Nasty.
Nah,
Sorry.
you be hating
Sorry.
Rochester pizza, bro.
Nah.
Listen.
Okay,
It's
I'm
not.
not
It's
gonna lie.
not pizza.
I've been to New York City multiple times. Okay, New York City pizza is like it's up there.
different. It's different.
It's just different.
Nah. I just gotta put that out there. I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm not from Rochester. I think a lot of the patterns so far when people get saved, I've noticed is during the pandemic. For like a lot of us, I've
Yeah.
seen it's just been like a time of like where the Lord really like put us in a deep end and he met us there. And that was the same thing for me.
Mm.
Just like Jules, I grew up Roman Catholic, Hispanic, doing communion. My parents, though, they weren't like religious at all. They just recognized Jesus, and that's basically it. Um, and then I would say growing up, I was trying to chase purpose and like little things like music and poetry and writing, and I was a bookworm. I read a lot of books. So I was definitely the nerdy kid growing up. And yeah, I was trying to find my purpose there. And we all have a lot of wounds from our childhood. So one of my wounds growing up was like domestic violence. I saw a lot of rough stuff growing up. So I definitely had a father wound. And I don't know why, but at such a young age, I was asking like big purpose life questions. I was like asking myself, what's the meaning of life? And what's the purpose of my life? And where did this life come from and the existence and who created it and stuff like that. And I was trying to find it through things like music and writing and stuff like that.
Mm.
Eventually I would say elementary comes, and I grew up with two best friends, but mainly first one is shout out to Kajal. She was my first best friend. We were like this the whole time together. She had some problems at home as well, so we kind of like trauma bonded for sure.
Yeah.
And we were always there. We were die hard for each other. Um, I didn't do anything like drinking and drugs and stuff like that because my parents kept me really sheltered. So I thank God for that. But eventually it did hit me on the long run, which I'll get to after. But so yeah, I had a best friend. We grew up. I would say by the time middle school comes around, freshman year of high school, um, I started to notice about myself that I didn't really like guys. Like I didn't have like all the girls around me like guys and they dated guys, and I looked at myself, I'm like, I'm not like that. I don't really have a crush on a guy or anything like that.
Mm.
And I thought something was wrong with me, and the world told me like, yeah, you just probably just like girls or something, I don't know. And eventually I just kind of identified as gay. I think it was freshman year. um a lot of my classmates in the school were gay or bi or trans or whatever, and that's what I identified with. And I was gay for about 8 years. So that was the reason when I shared my testimony to Jules, that's why there was such a resistance, because of how much my life just radically changed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say by the time junior year hits, uh the what I would say is basically some random day, I literally just, I don't know how to describe it. I really don't know. But I was on my period one day, TMI. But I needed a tea, okay? I needed a tea for the
I'm gonna
cramps.
edit that part out. No, I'm joking.
Oh my God.
I'm joking.
Listen, the pain was so bad. It was bad. So I needed like a tea to help with my cramps and ease the pain or whatever. So my yoga teacher, she gave me she gave me a tea to drink during the day to help me with my cramps. I was like so grateful for that. And then so I go from yoga class to math class, I think. This was junior year. And on the way going to math class, I dropped the mug. I don't know what happened. I wasn't running. It just like slipped out of my hand. And then when the mug dropped to the floor, that's where all these repressed memories came back about what I saw growing up during childhood. And next thing you know, I'm like sent to the counselor's office because I started breaking down
Mm.
and like shaking. And I'm looking at everyone around me because I'm like literally in the middle of the hallway, and I'm like what's going on? And all these memories just flooded me. I don't know how to describe it. And they sent me to the counselor's office and she asked me a bunch of questions about my childhood. And that's where she told me like, yeah, like you saw A, B, and C, and you kind of have PTSD. From there, that's where I gradually went into depression
Mm.
and anxiety. Um, it was pretty bad. And I had to see counselors for, I think, that summer of junior year. I was really depressed. I would stay in my room. I would not eat. My room was mad dark. Uh, I was suicidal, but I didn't attempt suicide. Um, it just got to a really low point, and my mom was trying her best to support me. And eventually, I would say through meditation and like self-help stuff and just myself trying to like get back up, I eventually did jump back up, I would say. Like I got better, but even when I was depressed, I was still asking myself like these deep questions about personal, like why I exist and the
Mhm.
purpose of life.
Mm.
And I was really chasing that. I was trying to understand it. Um Little did I know I was trying to find God, and I didn't know I was trying to find God. But and then yeah, and then by the time it's junior year at the same time, I met my friend Amy as well. She's my second best friend. Amy is a crucial part because she led me to the Lord, and she was a very bold Christian, and I went to a public high school as well. And there weren't bold Christian teens, not like that. Like
Yeah.
she was
Public school.
not public
Bold
school,
in other ways.
right? Oh my god,
Yeah. The things you see.
right, exactly. And Amy was so, she was so strong and so bold in her faith. She grew up with a strong family in the faith, and she we just got together through Codule, and we just started getting close and hanging out, and that's eventually how we became best friends.
Mhm.
And so I was gay for 8 years. So during high school, I was gay. So with that being said, Amy, with her boldness of her faith in Christ, we had conversations about that. And I didn't think she wanted to be my best friend or a friend at the least. I thought she was going to judge me, hate me. And no, she was very direct and graceful. She told me, I think one of the things that changed how I saw Christians was that she told me, like, Emily, like, I love you. I love you so much. I don't see you less of a human being because you identify with this. And she said, but I don't really approve of your lifestyle, but I still
Mhm.
see you as a human being and I still love you and I don't hate you or see you any less. Um so that really really, I think at the time when I was depressed, I really needed more people in my life that didn't struggle with people pleasing.
Mm.
Yeah.
I grew up kind of people pleasing, and she was the first person who was so direct and honest and loving at the same time. And I really needed that. And yeah, so I would say fast forward till 2020. That's when I went to community college, and I pursued a interest in like becoming a musician or something, or making music. So I went for like
I was about to
Yeah.
say, what was that?
making music.
Yo.
But I listen, I quote unquote because God is so funny. I literally, so it was literally before COVID started. And I played instruments. I taught myself how to play instruments, but I was never good at making songs,
Mm.
Mm.
like beats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I literally, the program was recording technician something. And I went for that. But the whole time I'm there, I'm feeling like I was not supposed to be there.
Yo, some of those
Mm.
classes are hard. A lot of my friends are music majors. They be talking about stuff. I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't you just like play the guitar?
Hey, yeah. I'll play that one string. Yeah. So I don't know. It was so interesting. It really was interesting. So I did eventually bounce up from depression, and 2020 came. Amy stayed at home. She didn't really go to college immediately. I went to community college, so we were still together and casual as well. Um, by the time COVID came, the music, what? The campus shut down. Like I remember that day where New York State announced like they were shutting down the schools and everything, and it was crazy. So eventually classes transitioned to online classes. And that's where I was at home, had nothing to do. Um, I was kind of like a workaholic too. I worked a lot. I think I was trying to find like my identity in that too. And eventually, I got so bored, and I don't know what happened, but I kind of slipped into depression again. Um, and these deep questions came up about personal, deep life, personal questions, a purpose of life, meaning of life, and I was trying to find it. And Amy, being her, bold in her faith, she always talked about God and how she believes in him. So she planted a seed in me, and eventually when I had nothing to do at home and I kind of quit doing classes because it didn't really matter to me because I wasn't doing nothing with music, I decided to read the Bible myself, and that's where God took it there. He took my curiosity and grew it. He revealed himself to me, and I got saved during 2020. And then I didn't tell Amy that I was reading the Bible for myself at all because I did not want her influence. I did not want her to judge me because I was still gay at the time. So I was like feeling weird if I read the Bible and gay at the same time. I didn't know what she would think. Um, but yeah. And eventually I told Amy and we had Bible studies together. And that's where it took off. That's where it took off. And I gave my life to the Lord. And there's other stuff too, the lore. Um, but and then I think the final piece is after a year of giving my life to Christ, I decided to go to Bible college. And then that's where I literally looked up on Google, like what Bible colleges existed in New York. And it was literally only Elam and Word of Life.
Mm.
And um, I contacted the admissions office for Elam, and Shania was working for the admissions office at the time. And I called, she picked up the phone, and we had a very Holy Spirit filled conversation. It was definitely like God saying to me, "You need to come here."
Mm.
And I didn't know like financially how I was gonna make it, but it worked out anyways. And I came to Elam, and I met my chocolate man, my other chocolate man, and that's where everything comes
And I put
together.
that gay spirit right out.
Hey,
I'm joking.
hey, yo. Yo, chill. Um, no, but yeah. So
Yes.
that's my testimony, and that's how I pieced together everything,
Yeah.
and how I think we all met through Elam and all this stuff. But
Yeah.
them too, they have a
Just picturing you going, I rebuke you.
Now marry me.
do it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No. Yeah. That was such a blessing. Meeting Emily and just how we all met.
right.
Yeah, I'll get into my testimony. I'm kind of like testimony fatigued a little bit because I spoke mine earlier on another YouTube channel today.
Birthday, so everyone comment happy birthday, Abdoulaye.
Yeah.
Yes.
B D
D.
O
Oh.
U A L A Y E.
Oh, yes, I am 25 today. I know I'm reaching unk status.
Oh my
But oh, my fault.
I'm literally 27. Crazy.
Oh. Mm.
It's okay. We still love
Oh man. I would say my testimony, I would say it just has a lot to do with identity. If I could sum it all up as to why I got into what I got into, what happened, identity. I grew up in Henrietta, went to the same school as Juliana, and yeah, me and my family moved out there when I was 5. My parents had just split. My mom took all 4 of her kids and moved them out to the suburbs. And I would say for the most part, I started off as having a normal childhood, to be honest. I didn't have my dad, but I mean, my mom provided everything she could for us. I can't say I really ever went hungry or starved or like I was ever struggling. Um, yeah, we had everything we needed in our house. Um, I would say my first encounter and struggle with identity was being African versus Black African American. Um, and a lot of African kids can attest to this, but you come here or you're born here and you're born into an African family and you identify with being African, but then there's also like Black kids who grew up in America and you're kind of like, well, what am I? And like, you don't fit in with the Africans because you don't speak the language, and you don't fit in with the Black kids. So it's just like, I don't know. I struggled with that. That was my first kind of encounter with identity. Um, and I kind of just I learned to adapt. And I think in my family, my cousins and my brother were into early on. They were into like drill music and rap music and just all that kind of stuff. And I kind of wasn't. I was into soft rock and I guess what people would say back then, white people music. I was into like being outside and like exploring the woods, and I always felt really different from my family, and my family would call me Oriole sometimes, or they would call me the oddball. And at the time, they were just joking, and like I think it was their form of loving on me. But what was getting deposited into me was just these small nuggets of I'm different and I'm not like everybody else.
Yeah.
And instead of having people that validated that inside of me and, allowed me to just grow naturally, the opposite happened. And eventually I just started identifying with the people, men and things that I saw around me. And growing up, what I thought a man was having a lot of money or having a lot of girls and having a lot of sex with girls and being popular. So I think I always tried to seek for attention. And growing up in like middle school, my trouble was just being like a class clown. Juliana can tell you, like,
Annoying.
just an annoying kid, man. Because like one, I wanted to make people laugh, but I think it was because I wanted attention. So it was really innocent trouble, and I'd like get kicked out of classes and stuff sometimes, and I'd get in these drill battles with my friends, and that's kind of how it started as, and then I think going into like ninth grade, more of that, but like those like drilling and making fun of each other kind of like turned into like making fun of other people. And I didn't think that like at the time it was wrong. Like me and my friends were just having fun, but it was. And that would be considered bullying.
Yeah.
You were smart too. So
Yeah.
you knew how to get to people.
Yeah,
You,
exactly.
you're a very observational person.
Mhm.
So it was very easy for you to nitpick at other people's insecurities so
Yeah.
you didn't have to focus on your own.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it went into that, and then high school started off as like I also had friends that we were trauma bonded by not having fathers either. That's where our hurts came in, and that's how we had these like kind of like weird, messed up, fatherless home environments. And then when we were with each other, it just felt like, man, we're these broken kids, and the world's just in front of us, and we can do whatever. Um, so I had a group of friends where we were trauma bonded as well, and I think for us, I think we just started off like s- again innocently doing things. We'd sneak out of our houses, link up to go ride our bikes around town. That eventually turned into us smoking weed with each other, and I started smoking weed at 15, which was, I know this sounds crazy, which was normal for the town that me and Juliana lived in.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
first time I ever even heard of someone smoking was
Mm-hmm.
when we were probably 13
Right.
and they were like 14. So
Right.
it was so normalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that time, I didn't see smoking weed as something like horrible, but I hid it from my mom.
We knew we weren't supposed to do it,
Right.
but we didn't think it was like we knew it was illegal, but we didn't look at it
Yeah.
as illegal.
Yeah. And like, yeah, I started doing that, and that turned into like substance abuse going down the line. Um, and then me and my friends, like, we liked smoking weed so bad that like we eventually thought it would be funny to just steal from people, you know? That eventually turned into like actually robbing people. That eventually turned into like going into stores and stealing stuff while we're going into the store all the time. And that eventually turned into something else. So fast forward to like 10th grade, I'm doing a bunch of that stuff. And again, I would consider this a normal childhood. Later on, I learned that it wasn't, but up until 10th grade, I played sports, I smoked weed, just had that innocent, what I thought was innocent fun with my friends. And in 10th grade, I actually stopped playing all sports. And I just kind of slowly just started seeing myself just going to this different lifestyle, like adapting to, again, what I thought a man should be, specifically a black male. Um, I started to adapt. I started to adapt. And fast forward into 11th, 12th grade, that's where I kind of started to get into fights with people. My group of friends, it was we always ended up in just other problems. I think when you're a boy and you feel like you're an alpha, you encounter other alphas and you just, you're gonna get into some conflict. So that's what happened a lot of 11th and 12th grade. Just me and my friends fighting and just like, I mean, we couldn't even stay in school with each other. Like, it was rare for me and all of my friend group to be in school together because there was either one person getting in a fight or another person getting in a fight, and we'd get suspended and have to be out of school for a little bit. So that's how that looked like. That's how my senior year looked like fights, just smoking a bunch of weed, partying. I got into other drugs as well. I overdosed at a party one time, and like, by the grace of God, was alive. And yeah, coming near the end of my senior year, I decided to go to college. And I think for me, I wanted to run away. I didn't like Rochester. I didn't like Henrietta. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go start a new life in college, FLCC. And that's where I encountered Juliana again.
Yeah.
And, she told her side of the story.
And he didn't know I was keeping tabs. Even though we weren't talking, I was keeping tabs.
So, yeah, I meet Juliana, and college, honestly, we try to give a good attempt at it at first. Like,
We did, low key.
we really did. And then we just, like, it caught up with us. At least from, like, me, like, I remember there was one point where I was just treating my dorm like an apartment and skipping out on class and just, yeah, the life just caught up with us.
Yes.
And kind of like how we all first came to Elam, us three. Not to exclude you.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just kind of like just following the Lord and just having faith to just walk each day, steward the things He places in front of you. That's kind of how it's been for TLR as well. We can have hopes and dreams and visions behind it, but we truly just want to follow God and just see where this goes and just bless you guys while we do it. So
Amen.
we thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you for episode 7. Peace.
See y'all.
Bye, guys.